Hey everyone, Chelsea here from So Simple Home. Today we're going to do a very quick project. This is a no-sew project, but it makes a great gift, especially a last minute gift for the holidays or a birthday gift, anything that you have coming up for winter time. We are going to make a no-sew scarf. So this is my example scarf. It's made out of fleece fabric, and fleece has a little bit of stretch to it, not a ton, but enough stretch that it makes a great scarf because you're going to put it around your neck and you can tie it and stretch it however you might need. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you're going to need is some fleece. There's lots of different kinds of fleece when you go to the store, but you can use a really inexpensive fleece. You do not want to use a sweatshirt fleece. It doesn't have enough stretch. And it's only fuzzy on one side. So you want to just have just the normal fleece that you would find at the store, okay, on a bolt. This fleece, this one doesn't have quite the same amount of stretch as this one, and that's okay, all right? But you do want it to have a little bit of stretch, and you want it to be nice and soft, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut out your fleece material. Now there's two different measurements. If you are making a scarf for an adult, you're going to want it to be 70 to 75 inches long. Now a regular bolt of fleece is typically 60 inches wide. So if you're going to make adult scarves, you're going to need to buy it so that you have the length going down the bolt. Okay, if you're going to make scarves for children, they are typically 60 to 65 inches. I'm making mine 60 inches, so I'm just making it the size of the bolt. Okay, just make it easy. And then I'm doing mine, I think 8 inches wide. Let me make sure. Yes. So 8 inches by 60 inches is the child size. 8 inches by 75 inches is the adult size. So that I've already cut mine. So this one is 8 inches by the 60 inches, which is the length of the bolt. And now I am going to trim off my selvages. So I don't want this piece showing, right? That would be really dumb. And people will be like, okay. So I'm just actually taking my scissors and trimming off that selvage piece. Okay, and I'm trimming it just to the edge of the selvage because I want to keep as much of the length as possible, right? I just don't want the selvage. It doesn't have much stretch and it's ugly, okay? So that's my first step. The second step is I'm going to use my cutting mat to help me line things up here. So I'm matching my two raw edges here at the bottom. And then I'm going to take a piece of tape, and it doesn't have to be any kind of special tape. I just have this little washi tape, and I'm going to tape it 4 inches from the bottom, like that. And then that's how I know how I'm going to cut my fringe for my scarf. So I'm just taking my scissors, and each of my fringe pieces I'm going to make 1 inch wide. So I lined it up, and now I'm going to cut it at 1 inch. So there's one. And I'm cutting through both the layers just to save on time. You don't have to do that. You could cut one layer at a time. And if you don't have a cutting mat, that's fine, right? You have a ruler somewhere, I'm sure. You have a tape measure. You can use that. And you just see I'm moving 1 inch at a time. Now if you're making a lot of these, you could also make a template, like a piece of paper where you would mark the 1 inch marks and then you could lay it down. I've done that before with my students. So this is very much like if you've ever made a fleece blanket and tied a fleece blanket. It's a very similar process, only it's a scarf. Okay. So there's all my fringe at the bottom, and I can take my tape off. Okay, now I'm going to tie it. This is easy. I'm just making a knot. And you don't even actually have to tie it. If you would prefer not to, you could just leave the fringe the way it is. Just leave it like this and call it good. So I guess it depends on who you're making the scarf for. If you're making it for girls, girls always love fun fringe, and maybe a boy would think that wasn't quite as cool. I don't know. But it's up to you. I mean, you could definitely stop at this point. Now, the reason fleece is such a great material to use for scarves like this is that you don't have to finish the edges. You don't have to finish the raw edges because they don't fray. Okay, so it makes it really nice. You can wash it, you can dry it, you can do whatever you need to with it, and it doesn't fray. So it's fast and really simple. All right, let's keep going here. You could also double tie them if you wanted to. You could tie the two together. Okay, you could follow our tutorial on making a braided fleece blanket, and you could braid the edge. It's totally up to you. That's the great thing about this project. Another thing you can do with this project is if you, that one got kind of low. We're going to retie this one. Another thing you can do with it is if you would rather have it be a really wide scarf, you could do that. You could instead cut it, 20 inches wide instead of the 8 that we're doing. So it would be like double this side, and it would be a really wide scarf that could be used, for more than just a scarf. You could use it kind of as a hood or whatever. So there's lots and lots of options. Okay, get this out of the way. You are going to get some fuzzies. I think you can see them flying around here a little bit. There we go. There's our 2 braided edges. Okay, nice and soft and super simple. It was like, what did that take us? Like 5 minutes, maybe. Okay, now you have a really nice scarf that's nice and soft and really comfy that can be worn under your coat, over your coat, with a sweater, whatever. And there's so many different fleece patterns now. Both of these are kind of a plaid gingham, but you can get fleece with characters on it now. You can get fleece that's lots of different patterns. There's a lot more sophisticated fabric, so if you have a business person that you're making a scarf for, it looks a little more professional, right? But it still took 5 minutes to make. So you could bust out a bunch of these with 1 yard of fabric and have all of your Christmas or holiday gifts made really, really quickly. So that's why I love this project. Now, another thing that you can do is you can pair your fleece with our frosty mitten or our frosty hat pattern and ear warmers. So then you have a whole matching set. You have a hat, you have gloves, and you have a scarf. And that makes a really, really great and simple holiday project and gift. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you next time.